Good evening and happy Friday afternoon to all. It's almost the end of March already, and April 1st is going to be upon us on Wednesday. It is April Fool's Day officially, but it will also be, as far as I'm aware, there have not been any new changes, so it will also be the date when the new implementations start for the new immigration changes, as far as I understand. And so there was a joke about it in Parliament about it starting on April Fool's Day, but in any case, officials have officially put on social media that everything was expected to commence on April 1st. So the reason why I'm coming to you guys this evening, I want to say this: you have 4 days left in the first of March, in March, and then we get into the 1st of April. So that means any applications that falls under the new laws that will be submitted on or after April 1st will fall under the new laws, and anything prior to that, we have heard the Minister and Director of Works on Radio Cayman all attesting that anything that was in prior to that more than likely will fall under the old law, and anything submitted on April or after April 1st will fall under the new laws if there have been changes for those particular areas of applications. So I want to encourage all persons that are concerned with doing business with the Department of Work, submitting applications, whether it's work permits, Caymanian status, permanent residence, rights to work in all categories. I want to encourage you all to consider getting professional legal services. Those of you that have your applications in there and you may not be satisfied with decisions, once those decisions have been made, I also want to encourage you all to get legal services. And I have sat down and did a bit of homework for you all, Caymanians and non-Caymanians alike. I did a bit of homework and I composed a list, which I will post on the websites, my social media pages after I finish this live. And I've composed a list of immigration attorneys that I am aware of, and also a few immigration agents that I have knowledge and or experience with or know of, and also, of course, legal aid. There are two there are two free legal aid clinics in the Cayman Islands, and I do believe that they do immigration consulting. They do not submit any applications or paperwork on your behalf the last time I knew, which was last year. But I do believe at least one do immigration consulting. I do believe you have to be a Caymanian and or permanent resident, or maybe just a legal resident, meaning you're not just a visitor here. And of course we have the government agency, which is WORC, that everyone knows about. So I know the list that I have of attorneys is not complete because I didn't recognize, I recognize that some of the names that I may be aware of, like smaller firms, smaller personal firms, what they like to call boutique firms. Some of those names I looked on the most recent attorney list on the judicial website, the courthouse website, and I noticed that a number of smaller firms' names are not there. Most of those that are just small practices, that does not mean that they're no longer in practice. If you know of an attorney that does immigration law, consult that person to find out if they're still licensed to practice immigration law in the Cayman Islands for 2026. You must always go to the judicial website under judicial.ky, and then the tab that says services, which is right to the top in the middle, and you look for the tab that says roll of attorneys. That is, roll is meaning a list, but that's what it's called in legal term, a roll of attorneys. So that means a list of attorneys. And then you check the attorneys, whatever ones I have on this list, or if you know one that is not on this list, you can look for their names, check if they are licensed to practice for 2026. If they're not on that list, and you know someone, still check with them, because they may not have gotten their recertification in yet for 2026. I believe they still have some time. And attorneys, if you're out there listening and you haven't submitted your certifications yet, get them in as soon as possible so you can get on that updated list. And they're also, I think the fees have also changed as far as I could see when I logged on to the excuse me, website. So attorneys, get your certifications in, get your applications for certifications, I think that's what it's called, into the judicial website. I believe you still have till, let me not say that, but I believe they still have some time for those who are not yet submitted and want to be on the list. In addition, please make sure that you include, this is for the attorneys, make sure that you include what area of practice, whether it's immigration or whatever else you practice, sole practitioner that practices everything, please make sure to submit that in information to the judicial department, because there's no space there on that list to say what areas you practice. Now, people that are going to be using legal services, immigration attorneys and immigration agents, when you call these people, tell them that Patricia Bryan gave you their name. If you hear their name on this list, then ask them if they would be willing to give you a 5 or 10 minute free consultation. That is just enough time for you to tell them what your problem is and them to say to you, I think I can help you. I'm not saying they will offer you a free consultation. I am saying to ask if they can, no matter who it is, what type of firm, big or small, or immigration agent. Tell them Patricia Bryan gave their name. These are the ones I'm saying on the list. But anyone who is a lawyer that you know practices immigration law, or anyone who is an immigration agent that you know does immigration work, ask them if they can offer a 5 or 10 minute free consultation, just to tell you, just for you to tell them what your issue is and what you need their help with. And they may be willing to do that. I am not telling you they will be doing it. I am just making a suggestion. These businesses are going to be getting a lot of business. Immigration attorneys, you are going to be busy when April 1st comes, because everybody is going to be getting all of their applications hopefully in that can qualify for anything by next week, which is March 31st, Tuesday. Yes. So businesses are going to be booming. I guarantee you that. So if you firms or agencies can take off a 5% or a 10% or offer a free or reduced consultation, please do so to help our residents and our Caymanians especially, who may be making applications, like Caymanian owned businesses, Caymanian statuses, especially those who can qualify under descendants and marriage and RERC. Make sure you check to make sure that they're not marriages of convenience to get yourself in any rigmarole, but that's between you and your clients. Back to the clients now, potential clients. These are some of the names that I am going to be recommending and their contact numbers. You can always listen over to this video and get the names. Good evening, Yash Rashan. I love to just call out some of the people because, oh my gosh, there's so much comments already. Maybe I should leave these to the last. Okay, let me get to calling the names of the attorneys. Stuart Humphreys, Kimon Bracker, Buck Grizel, son of the soil Kimanian, and his contact number is 814-7919 or 949-3344. KSG attorneys, James Kennedy, another Caymanian, Hal Ebanks, and Mr. Kai McGrill. Mr. McGrill, please excuse me if I'm pronouncing your name wrong. Their number is 949-0003. HSM, Alistair David, 949-4766. Watler Law, attorney Olivier Watler. His number is 926-8018. Philip Ebanks Law, another Caymanian, and Olivier Watler is a Caymanian also. These Caymanian names that I'm calling, I'm sure they're going to be very well recognized. Philip Ebanks Law, 323-0482. Not because they're Caymanians, that means they can't help people that are not Caymanians. Don't get it twisted now, guys. Hampson and Company, 623-7788. Mark Beckford and Co., 769-2020. Mark, I'm sorry I have to say this, Mark is Jamaican descent, married to Caymanian, has been here forever and very well versed in immigration law. He is one of those smaller boutiques. Some people may be more comfortable with the smaller boutiques, that's why I'm mentioning that, but you have to do your own research. Okay, Samson Law. Some of these names that I'm calling, they have been in the Cayman Islands practicing law forever. So they're very experienced. And I always encourage you to shop around, at least call 3 different law firms or 3 different, you can call law firms or immigration agents or a combination of both, and shop around to see who may offer the best service and the best price, or even that free or reduced consultation, and feel the feel of who you're speaking to. If you have to, search their websites to see how they look, because every immigration website has a list of who practices what in their firm, and so you get to see people and you can kind of pick a sense of them up when you see their picture and that sort of thing. These immigration agencies should have the same thing. Stennings Chambers, Mr. James Stenning, 324-8235. McGrath Tonner, Everton Spence, Everton Spence, attorney Everton Spence, please forgive me, you and attorney Philip Ebanks are previous retired police officers. And McGrath Tonner, Everton Spence's number is 623-2740, 949-2740. Quality Law, it's an all-female firm, another smaller boutique, is Miss Christine Bawden, 233-7529. Most of these that I've called before, most of these firms that I'm calling, that I'm naming, I searched them online and I did the research for you guys, got their numbers, but I am familiar with many of these firms. Many of these firms have been along for many years, and I know a significant amount of these attorneys, and that's why I encourage you to shop around. If you talk to one and you feel like I connect with this person, if you're able to talk to them for a free or reduced consultation, that's fine, but I encourage you to shop around if you need to. Chapman's Legal, they are legal appeal specialists. And I think HSM and KSG are very well known on the island too for appeals. Now, that's not saying that none of these attorneys do not have experience with appeals. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying from my knowledge, and I have to be honest with you guys if I'm trying to help everyone, including my Caymanians, especially my Caymanians, who has children that are going to have to be recognized as Caymanians, who have families and relatives that are going to probably apply for status and permanent residence under these new laws. Sonia Bodden and Associates, I heard Miss Bodden, Sonia Bush, let me correct that. Sonia Bush and Associates, 769-5000. I'm not sure if she's still practicing, but it appears though she's still on the court list. Rich and Connolly, Miss Emma Fitzgerald and John Fox, 949-7366. Denton's, Len De Viers. Sorry, Mr. De Viers, if I'm pronouncing that wrong. David Dinner and Randall Martin. Randall Martin sounds like a very familiar name, but their number is 745-5001, 745-5000. Atrium Legal Services and Miss, I'll just say her last name because she has a very unusual first name, Tumala. Tumala is her last name. So Miss Tumala of Atrium Legal Services, 949-5605. Simmons and Simmons is Mr. Stephen Simmons, 745-7529. Priestley's, 946-1577. Brady Law, again, Mr. Brady was a police officer, retired, and then went into law like Attorney Philip Ebanks and Attorney Everton Spence. And his number, Brady Law, I'm not sure if Mr. Brady is practicing immigration law or the other attorney or two that I understand is in his firm, but their number is 946-3207. Perry and Anglin attorneys, I believe I heard that they are practicing immigration law. They're a new firm that not so long have come online, 640-6644. Now again, as I said, I know one new firm that just came online. It's a Caymanian firm, and I don't have that contact number anymore, but some of you may know who that is. And then there's about 2 or 3 others, small boutique firms that I know are practicing immigration that I couldn't find online. I couldn't recognize that they're on the 2026 list of approved attorneys, of practicing attorneys, but they may just not have gotten their recertification in yet. So if you know of anyone, then ask them, are you recertified to practice immigration law for 2026? If they're not, you can't use them, because if you have to go to court, or when you submit your applications or your appeals or whatever to Department of Work, they have to show that they're certified for 2026. That means they're not able to practice if they haven't gotten the court certification to practice in the Cayman Islands. You can again look on the judicial.com website, or you can look at the Cayman Islands Legal Practitioners Association's website, CILPA. If you need any help with all those acronyms, abbreviations, send me a message. The immigration agents that I have here, Anglin Lewis and Associates Limited, 943-2525. This is one of the very first immigration agents in the Cayman Islands. Believe it or not, I started a very small first immigration agency. I was actually the person that submitted the very first work permits for the workers that was building Caymana Bay, and yes, I have the proof for that. Their official parking lot right there in the middle of Caymana Bay almost was where I met some workers, and they needed work permits, and I submitted work permits because I had a business that was practicing that. and that was practicing immigration submissions. And I actually worked with Miss Anglin of Anglin Lewis. She was my immediate supervisor, so I worked under her in the Cayman Island Status and Permanent Residence section. And so I started a small business after she stayed on immigration for many years after that. And then when I think she retired, yes. And then she started Anglin and Associates. So she's one of the first, oldest, and longest running immigration agents in the Cayman Islands. And I understand very well, she should be, if she's still practicing in there, or her staff. I know she would be, she would make sure that her staff are very versed and informed and experienced with doing applications. Bureau, some of you may not know, but Bureau, who's famously known for employment and staffing agency placements, they do immigration. 945-1781. PIVAC Agency Limited, 623-8900. George Ebanks Consultancy. I'm not sure if Mr. Ebanks is still doing immigration, but I know he used to up till year before last. 322-9369. Cayman AMS Immigration Consulting Limited, 743-4668. DocuPlus Agency, 947-9887. The Embassy, this is not the U.S. Consulate on Smith Road. This is a immigration agency. I think they're actually located, I can't remember where they're located, but their number is 938-4978. I want to say this: when you engage in receiving services from these firms and these businesses, especially the immigration agents, please ensure you get a receipt when you have services provided by these agencies, or when you do any type of immigration work with these agencies, or when you submit any type of applications to WORC. Look at your receipts right there and then to make sure it is in the right name of the person that the application is being submitted for. It has happened where applications have been submitted for work permits. The receipts given back have not been in the name of the applicants of the work permits. Employers do not check, or when they see it, they do not go back to work and get it rectified. It has caused problems for some applicants. It has caused denials, deferrals, and some agents or employers are doing the wrong thing with these types of applications, that they realize it could be an administrative error, or it could be that they noticed it and didn't want to change it. Whatever the case may be, people, I am imploring, asking you for your own benefit, make sure the receipt that you receive is in the name of the person that the application is being submitted for. Whether you get it from an agent, or you get it from WORC, or you get it from the employer, make sure it all corresponds, because it is all of your responsibility to make sure that this gets done. The legal aid, two legal aid clinics that I was referring to, Cayman Islands Legal Assistant Clinic, CLAC, their number is 945-0077. Legal Befrienders is 949-8789. And WORC, of course, their most common, well-known number is 949-8344. But whatever number you have for WORC, they work, right? So these are all the names of the people that I would recommend using for your immigration purposes. Now, the law firms, I know they have an obligation, because of their size and their actual category of business in the Cayman Islands, unless they can get penalized, to provide you with receipts. So I don't think that that would be a problem, but I still want to see whatever immigration applications you are doing with whoever, through whatever path, make sure you get a receipt. The other thing I wanted to recommend to people, there's this little sign here, you may not be able to see it, but did you document it? Buy yourself a little small notebook. They're sold at Kirk, Office Equipment, Office Supplies, Lee's Office Supplies, Larry's Home Hardware, whatever it's called on Eastern Avenue. And you can buy a little small receipt. Some of the drugstores sell them too. Small, not receipt books, notebooks, pocket-sized notebooks, handbag-sized notebooks. Or get a diary or a calendar and write down everything. When you call work, when you call a law office, when you call an agency, when you go there, when you pay, write everything down. Keep track. If you can't write it down, there's a recorder on your smartphone. Some of you are having $3, $4, $5, $6, $7, $8, $9, $10, $12, $1,500 smartphones in your hands. They have recorders on them. They have little notebook apps that you can speak into and dictate into the apps, and it saves. Or you can record your voice saying, I called work today at 8:35 and I spoke to Miss Ann and she told me XYZ. Let me tell you the other thing I have found. I am sorry to say this. Sometimes you call work and you will get 3 or 4 different people in a week, and all three, at least two of those persons will give you different information about the same question or query. It has happened to me. It has happened to so many people that it confuses people. Be clear about what you are asking for, what you want to know. You don't always have to give your name, but if you're inquiring about yourself, or you're the employer or the representative, like the agency, the agents know this, the law firms know this. You have to be clear of what you're asking. They're not just going to nilly-willy give you information if you're calling about somebody else. If you're just having a general question, yes, they will give you information. But if you are asking about other people and they can't identify that you are that person, you can't get information. But if you ask a general question, well, how much does it cost for a temporary work permit for 6 months for a beauty stylist or whatever, that's a general question. They can try to help you with that. Cover letters. I encourage everyone to do a cover letter. If you're going through an agent, tell them you want a cover letter. The cover letter, well, they generally do cover letters, I believe, most agents. Cover letters is selling yourself. If you're the applicant and you're getting an agent or you're getting a law firm, lawyers will generally include information about you to kind of sell you to the application. And they tell in the cover letters a little bit about you, not just your work history or what you've done, but who you are as a person. Let work and the boards know who you are as a person. Get 3 references, even if you don't need them. Get 3 references, even if you don't need them. If you've done anything positive in the Cayman Islands, like volunteering or donated to the thrift stores, or anything positive you've ever done in your life in the Cayman Islands, attend some of the nonprofits, Kiwanis, Rotary, Lions, and those places. List all of those things, no matter what you're applying for. Temporaries, 1 year, Cayman status, permanent residence, RERC. I encourage you, tell these agencies, or if you're doing it yourself, list a cover letter and put some good stuff about yourself in there. Now, the minister and the ministry have released, I haven't actually read it, but I briefly scanned it, that I think at least 16 government departments are going to be involved with cross-referencing for information. So you know what that means? Number 1, I would encourage all of you that's legal residents on the island, when and if you can, apply for the national ID, the EID, or whatever it's called. I do believe they said eventually they will be offering that some sort of how through immigration. But try to get that card if you're able to, or before they even offer it if you can. Also, like I said, do a cover letter and sell yourself. When I say sell yourself, don't get that wrong, because some of you take my words out of context. Sell yourself meaning you're telling whoever's looking at your application a little bit about yourself. You only need 1 page. Don't give them 2 pages. Some of you, I respectfully, I will say this, some of you may not be able to read and write properly, or you can read or not write, or write and not read, or your English is not the first language and it's not clear. Well, you know what? You get someone to write it for you. But I think I always encourage people to do a cover letter to sell yourself a bit. Okay? And last thing I want to say, I have to make these little notes, otherwise I'll go over. Okay, add a cover letter. Okay, that's pretty much it, people. Again, like I said, I will put this list of attorneys on the website so you can see it. And you can use it as guidance if you want to speak to an attorney, but things are going to get, and I want to say this to all you critical people that's always making all these videos on social media. The Cayman Islands is not the only place in the world that's changing immigration. We're not the only place in the world that's raising their fees. If you look on my page, you'll see that I just posted about the UK raising their fees, changing some of their fees. They've changed some of their immigration laws. Canada, all the major players, they call them, major states. You know, Canada, the US, of course, we know they're January 15th, I think it was. Woo. So don't criticize Cayman like we're the worst. I mean, you're free, it's your platform, you can do whatever you do, but see what's happening in the rest of the world before you come back and start talking about our government and our changes. Guys, I want to call some shout outs because I know some of you people want me to give some shout outs here. Okay, let me see. Okay. I can't get anyone to join as a guest. I'm sorry. Thanks for the gifts. I'm not answering any questions today. I just wanted to give you guys that information and encourage you all to try to seek legal services. Don't try to do it on your own because things are going to get, I'm not saying worst. I like the fact that we have these changes because they were long overdue. They're necessary. We have to protect our borders. We have to protect our people. And we see there's a lot going on with bringing people here illegally, applying for work permits for them that there's no work and people are being mistreated. We don't want international agencies to be coming into the Cayman Islands or the UK to start talking to the Cayman Islands and talking about breaching humanitarian standards and not complying with humanitarian expectations. That means humanitarian means there's certain guidelines in Cayman, in the UK that we fall under, and for the rest of the world, other countries get together in committees and organizations and they agree this is what is supposed to happen in countries to protect the human person and how things are supposed to be done, how they're supposed to be taken care of, how when it comes to them being arrested. There's a ton of different, I'm going to talk about human rights again sometime soon, but we don't want the Cayman Islands to be under any spotlight to do with that and work, and the Cayman Islands government wants to get these things right. Is it true that a person must leave? I'm not answering any immigration questions. You can call WORC or a lawyer or an agency to ask. I'm sorry to kind of throw you off because I've been on a little bit longer. I just want to see if anybody else. I don't. How you get a work permit in the hospitality area? You go on WORC's job website and see if there's any advertisements there. No, I can't. Oh my gosh, everybody just want, you see, this is what I'm saying. I have to get off, guys, but this is what I'm telling some people who are always making these videos online that everybody's going to leave Cayman and we're going to be in a problem. The more people want to leave this country, the more are going to come. And even if those don't stay and they leave, more are still going to come. We're one of the easiest locations, jurisdictions to get into right now. And I can foresee there may be some visa changes coming in the future because of some exposés that's been going on recently for some other countries. So sorry, but I can't ask to join as a guest right now. I'm trying to jump off this thing. Okay. Boy, you guys have some really interesting usernames, but thanks very much for joining. And I hope this video was informative. Please take my recommendations and suggestions of seeking legal advice or guidance. Do not be cheap with yourself. I don't care who you are, Caymanians or non-Caymanians, wealthy class, middle class, working class, lower class. I don't want to say anything more, but do not be cheap with yourself. If you want to be in the Cayman Islands, you have to invest in making sure that things are done legally and properly, and it doesn't come back to bite you. I will say that some of you agencies do the right thing. You're not law firms. Do the right thing. And guys, do not be afraid to contact WORC to complain, or the Department of Pension and Labor and Pensions. You see, it's time for me to get off. Do not be afraid to contact them. Chances are, most of the time, the employer, if it's a work permit related issue, will be the person that will be in problems, not you. Do not be afraid to go and speak up for yourself. Look at my video with the yellow dress that everybody loves. I look like a sunflower. And listen to what I say in that video. Thank you very much and have a good evening.